Hey, and welcome along to another episode of Chow with Lau. And today I'm going to show you how to make steak in black pepper sauce. Let's go. Right guys, so for this recipe I'm using two rather nice ribeye steaks. You don't have to use ribeye steaks, you can use rump steak if you like, or flank steak, or even cheaper cuts of beef. It'll work just as well as long as you treat it right. I've got a video that I made about velveting or tenderizing cheaper cuts of meat, which I'll leave in the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check it out if you want to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these into thin strips. First of all, you've got to find the grain, which is running across like so, and then we're going to cut across it, and this will automatically make the beef more tender, and we're going to cut it into thin strips, so it'll make the steak go further and it'll make it quicker to cook. And when you're stir frying like we are, this is obviously really the essence of stir frying, making it really nice and quick. What we do when we get to the gristly bits or the fatty bits is we're going to cut them out, because obviously we don't want to be really chewing on those when we're eating our lovely stir fry. Now we've cut our beef into nice strips, we're going to marinate it. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of cornflour or cornstarch, a teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, and about a teaspoon of sesame oil. So we're going to get our hands in here and really massage it in, and this will create a lovely base flavour that the beef is going to have. It'll be ever so slightly sweet. The sesame oil will absorb also into the meat, and the cornflour will do a couple of things. It will start to tenderise the meat, which is great. We don't need a lot on this steak, but every little helps. And also it'll help with the caramelisation process. And thirdly, it'll help thicken the sauce as well once we start to combine the two together. There you go. And now we can set that aside whilst we prepare the rest of our ingredients. So next I've got a chunk of ginger here, about half a thumb size, which you're going to finely chop. I've also got a couple of stalks of spring onion or green onions, which I'm going to roughly chop up. And we've got 1 nice orange bell pepper, which I'm going to cut into thin strips. Normally I like to make my peppers kind of chunky. But I feel because of the kind of delicate flavour of this particular dish, I'm gonna do the thin strips because I think it suits it a little bit better. Obviously you can do whatever you like, as long as you don't cut it too thin and it goes to mush, then you're fine. We need a little bit of crisp and crunch from the vegetables, which would be really nice. So I'm just going to get them like this, get the seeds out a little bit more, and we're just going to almost julienne them. It's not quite, a bit thicker than that, but you can see what I'm doing. And obviously don't get this dish confused with the black bean and green pepper dish that you often find associated with beef, and nor is it obviously steak in peppercorn sauce either. Although the base ingredients are the same, they're very different things. I guess you could say that this is the Chinese version of it, but obviously the peppercorn steak sauce that you get in Western restaurants is quite creamy and thick. This is much lighter. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to know your thoughts on which ones you prefer. There you go. Maybe this one. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Separate them out. So here's all your veggies, guys. I also sliced up half a white onion to go with this dish. So to make up this sauce, I'm going to use about half a tablespoon of cornflour or cornstarch, about a teaspoon of sugar, about 50 ml of beef stock, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, a tablespoon of light soy sauce, a tablespoon of rice wine, and of course our ground pepper. I've got about a teaspoon of ground black pepper here. Now how much you use, that's a good base level, but how much you use depends on how much you like it in the dish. 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper is definitely a good starting point. You can adjust it to your own tastes. So we're going to give this a nice mix. And we can set it aside until the end of the stir fry. It's on to the fun part, the stir fry. And the technique to using the steel wok is to get it really hot before you even add the oil in. Okay, I'm using about 2 tablespoons of oil, quite a lot, because that helps with the non-stick process. Get it hot, put cold oil in, get it hot again, give it a swirl around. You should see a little bit of smoke coming off it. And this all helps with the cooking process because obviously with Chinese stir fry it's all about speed and heat. Here we go. Okay. So what we need to do is get it in the wok and then spread it out so we've got a single layer of meat. Okay, once you've done that, once you've separated out the pieces of meat, leave it. The temptation is to go in there and stir it and start flipping it straight away. No, we need to sear this meat, get that caramelization going, get that brown crust going on the beef, and that will seal in the flavor and the texture. Don't touch it. If you start to move it, it also starts to water starts to come out of it, and you'll end up part boiling it, which is not great. We really want a nice seared pieces of meat all throughout this dish. So once we've got that, we can then flip. We can then flip and seal the other side. Okay, you can see we've got some nice dark brown pieces of meat going on here. Once we've got most of the edges covered, then we can just sort of flip it. Okay, right. I'm going to get this out of the wok because we don't want to cook it all the way through. What we don't want is to overcook the beef, and the cooking process of the beef will finish at the end when we combine the sauce. Right, so we're going to get our wok hot again. Now don't worry about all these bits of meat and juices left in the wok. This is all going to deglaze into the main sauce and keep all the flavour that we put into it. There's no sense in wasting it. Okay, so we've got our wok hot. We're going to add some more oil. I'm first of all going to add my ginger, get the flavours going. Oh, a bit of spring onion in there as well, it's a bonus. Once we've got that going, we're going to add the spring onion and a bit of pepper apparently. And now we can go ahead and put everything else in. Now we're trying to keep that heat up, so we're not turning the heat down at all. So we keep it moving, keep it flipping. So we're cooking, but we're not burning. Keep it moving, high heat and speed. And this retains the textures of the veggies and gives us that nice fresh flavour and texture to all these stir fries. So once we're about halfway cooked with our veggies, once the onions start to go translucent, okay, that's our signal to recombine our beef. Okay. at that. Check it out, guys. And obviously we're going to stir our sauce up again, because the cornflour will settle out of it if we're not careful. Mix everything together. And we pour the whole lot in like so. And that should come to the boil pretty quick. And because the cornflour's in there, it should thicken up. If it doesn't thicken up to the right consistency, you can add a little bit more cornflour slurry. That is a little bit more cornflour mixed with water, cold water, and that should do it. But as you can see, this is coming out perfect. Well chuffed with that. A couple of flicks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is done. Right, everyone, moment of truth, or tasting time as I like to call it. I'd really love you guys to join me in this bit. It's the favourite part of the video for me, but you can't. Tell you what though, if you do make this dish, why don't you let me know how it goes in the comments below? That's the closest we're going to get to have a shared experience. That would be so cool. Anyway. Oh wow. That is so tender. And the pepperiness comes through beautifully against the sweetness of that pepper. It is absolutely staggeringly good. So simple to make as this dish, and yet the flavours are just to die for. And it was worth using a bit of steak to do it as well, I promise you. But if you follow my tenderising plan, you can use cheaper cuts of beef, and I tell you what, you won't be able to tell the difference. You think you're eating steak, guarantee it. Go ahead and try it. I really hope you've learned something from this video. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you try this recipe. Like I said before, if you do, let me know how it goes. So if you have liked this video, leave a like on your way out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm just trying to reach as many people as possible. And every time you interact with me in that kind of way, it tells YouTube that I'm doing a good job, and it spreads through the algorithm and more people see my videos. And that would be just so great. I've got 4,500 subscribers so far, which is beyond my wildest dreams. My aim is to hit 10,000 by May 2022. So we'll see how that goes. With your help, I'm sure I can do it. So thank you again for watching, guys. It is really much appreciated, and I will see you soon. I've got more than 80 videos on my channel now, so there must be another recipe here for you. So please check them out over here. And if you want to stop me dancing, click one of those buttons now. Go on. I'm getting tired now. You just want me to dance like a monkey, don't you?